What's going on, my main man?
What's up, baby? I guess Bonte Hill has the slogan of the day. Division games are hard. Steiny, I thought this was going to be a walk in the park. It wasn't. And the Niners got it done, just like you said, 2-0, and here we are. They got a game in 4 days.
All right, here's what we're going to do. We're going to restart a tradition of rapid fire at 10:10. That's in 5 minutes. 888-957-9570 is the number. You get first crack at what you thought of yesterday's game. We're going to do that in 5 minutes. Rapid fire. Let's line them up. 888-957-9570. We want your impressions of that game yesterday. And the San Francisco 49ers, I don't think there's any doubt about it. We're going to get into the particulars. We're going to get into what went right, maybe a couple things that didn't go right. But look, this team is 2-0. They've had 2 road games, one against Pittsburgh, one against the Rams. They're 1-0 in the division. They've scored 30 points their first 2 games. I don't really think there's a lot to criticize at this point, Goo. I mean, this team looks like, at the very least, one of the best 3 teams in the NFC, which is what we thought they were.
Okay, I'll give you that, but I am still shocked in trying to put together and formulate opinions on the first half, in particular, not Brock Purdy. Overthrows do happen, and you talked about it last week, Steiny. You were like, he's due for a underwhelming game. This was not a bad game. They got the ball, marched down, got in the end zone. The Niners did. But I'm not used to Brock Purdy missing, on big shots. And that happened 3 times. He stood up at the podium, said it happened. Okay, they got the dub. But defensively, Steiny, I do want to know, are the Niners going to be able to get home without blitzing? Because Matt Stafford could have shaved, brushed his teeth in the first half, picking that Niners secondary apart, mainly in the zone. So that's something I'm wondering if other teams will be able to manipulate that are better than the Rams and Stafford. But that game was closer than I ever thought, and I'm going to slow my roll moving forward on Goo. Like you always tell me, it's the NFL.
888-957-9570 is the number. What'd you think of that Niners game yesterday? 30-23. They were down 17-10, late second. They get that big drive, and then Purdy takes it over from the 1. To me, that's the biggest play of the game. 2 big plays to me. The big play was Purdy obviously going over from the 1. It's 17-10. Yep. They somehow stop you there. Then all of a sudden, the Rams go in up 17-10. Instead, it's 17-17. And then here's the other thing about the Niners.
Go ahead, because I got something for you.
You can't. You're going to have to play well to beat them, obviously. But you're not only going to have to play well, you might have to play better than well. And the Rams, look, that first interception off a drop is a killer. The game's 17-17. The Rams are moving. The Rams are, hanging in there. I wouldn't say they're in control, but we got ourselves a ball game, and he throws a ball right into Williams' hands, and he can't catch it, and it drops into the 49er defender's hands, and the next thing you know, that kind of changes the game. Niners go down and score, and then then they get control of that game. So you can't make mistakes like that, and Williams made it in the third quarter with 4 minutes left. Otherwise, that's a tie game at that time.
Yeah, and last week we talked about just how how complex this Niner offense is and how diverse it is, and we talked about the emergence of Ayuk and whatnot. But Steiny, I wrote down yesterday watching this game, Deebo Samuel, he's one of a kind, just with what he brings to the table. Now, there'll be some games where it won't be on display, but, the wide receiver screens yesterday, the one he goes in for a touchdown. I mean, there is not another Deebo Samuel in the NFL, and you watch him yesterday with 6 catches for 63 in the air, 5 rushes for 38 yards. You got McCaffrey going for $116, but just, again, Ayuk in that shoulder, Steiny, I was sitting there. You tell me if it was just me. I was like, you got 15 more games to go. Do you bring him out? The shoulder is obviously hurt, but he toughed it out. But Deebo Samuel just reminding everybody how different he is and what he brings to the table. That was special. And, again, just another friendly reminder that the Niners got a lot at their disposal offensively.
888-957-9570 if you want to jump into the conversation. The 49ers follow up a tremendous Week 1 performance against the Steelers with a very solid road win against the LA Rams, 30-23. Brock Purdy, 17 for 25, 220-ish, 210, something like that. No picks. So if you're not going to throw any touchdowns, don't throw any picks, and he didn't. And in fact, that's 2 games now where the Niners have just 1 turnover. I mean, you got to try to win the turnover game against the Niners because of how good they are. And if you lose the turnover game, you're in big trouble. And the Niners haven't been making mistakes.
No, and
the first 2 games.
And that's why I will not say Brock Purdy had a bad game because of the overthrows. It's the first time we've seen it. But what he's put together in this portfolio, I'm not going to come in here and say, because he said it, oh my gosh, what's going on? But those are big plays. And moving forward, Steiny, it's nothing big, but it is something like, it's the first time we've seen that in this young man's career.
Yeah.
Who'd he miss? Ayuk, Debo, and who was the other one he missed? Jennings.
Missed a couple deep throws, but hey, it'll happen. It'll happen. To me, the interception was the game changer.
Man, it was.
Williams just doesn't come up with a ball that's right in his hands. 49ers get an interception. And then that drive at the end of the first half, just a and maybe it's the Niners, but that was just a little too easy. The Rams go up 17-10. There's 1:45, no timeouts.
Yeah, I'm in the lab shocked.
And how about Kyle Shanahan calling timeouts as the Rams are kind of progressing into the end zone? It was very you want to talk about the confidence he has in Purdy. You think he plays that the same way with Jimmy Garoppolo?
The thought crossed my mind.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think so. So, Shanahan with a gutsy call, at the end of the first half, and it kind of obviously changed the way both teams went into
I know
that,
we're going to get to it,
Steiny.
Real quick, ask me my biggest takeaway.
What's your biggest takeaway?
McKivitz is okay. I know they had Kittle lined up, and they gave him some help, and the backs were chipping, but he held his own. Aaron Donald, I don't know what's going on, but it seems to be, he's getting triple and double, whatever, double and triple teamed. Okay. But we'll talk about the Niners' lack of a pass rush before using the blitz, but McKivitz held his own.
Yeah, no doubt about it. And the 49ers, I mean, I guess if you'd have to say a couple things that, maybe worried you is, I mean, what happens when a quarterback gets rid of the ball that fast? I mean, you're not going to be able to sack him if he's getting rid of the ball in 2 seconds.
No doubt.
Right?
You hope for a turnover, and like you just said, they got two picks.
They did. Brandon Ayuk got hurt on that first play, but stuck it out. And
man, he was in pain.
He sure seemed it. And then Lenore puts the game away with an interception with 4:48
nice
left.
One, too.
4:48 left. In the game. 888-957-9570 is the number. What'd you think of that game yesterday with the San Francisco 49ers? They win 30-23. They were down 17-10 late in the second. They tied the game up early in the third and then took advantage of a couple turnovers in the second half. And if you want to talk about that defense, you were a little concerned in the first half. You got to look at the second half and say, hey, and they only gave up 6 points in the second half.
Yeah. And
3 late didn't even matter.
We'll talk about that. I don't know what McVay was thinking, but it's the second game in a row, Steiny, that the defense has held the other team out of the end zone. So that obviously that's a good thing. But Wilkes, I was a little concerned, but Steiny, he dialed up that blitz, and Fred Warner got the lone sack of the day. But you could tell it started, they were getting Stafford off his spot, and he felt rushed.
888-957-9570 is the number. It's a Monster Monday brought to you by First 5 California. To learn 4 things you can do to overcome toxic stress, go to first5california.com. What was your takeaway from yesterday's 49ers win? 30-23, victory over the Rams, division rival Rams. And I know it's early, but the 49ers have control of the NFC West, which is something they didn't have early in the past 2 seasons because they haven't started this well. When's the last time they started 2? They were 8-0 that one year, but they've that
was the Super Bowl year.
They were 2-4 in openers with Kyle Shanahan. They won last week, and then they followed it up with a nice win yesterday, 30-23. And once again, 49er fans traveling They're traveling.
Yeah, they say it's a home game, SoFi West. That that has to suck. If you're a Ram player, like damn, where the fan? How y'all letting them take over?